Hard Hat's all about showing up to play hard, doing what it takes to win.
If you want to cement legacy, win another.
He's your third center.
You don't want to pump him up too much, but it's hard not to.
This is maybe the most I've ever agreed with you.
Hey, Bobby Manning here. Welcome to a Sunday edition of the Garden Report. And we made it to opening week, Celtics Sixers on Wednesday to get this 2025-26 season underway for the Celtics. And with us today, Mr. Richard White, of course, the father of Derrick White, who is going to have a pretty significant role on this year's team as they try to sustain through Jayson Tatum's absence. And we'll see if Jaylen Brown's ready to start opening night with a hamstring injury he suffered in the last game there. Of course, Derrick came through with 33 in that one, 17 three-point attempts, 4 steals, I think it was, or was it 4 blocks, right?
4 blocks. Yeah.
Just a awesome performance, and looks like he's prepared to take another leap this year, which he's pretty much done every year, at least here in Boston, to start his career.
Yeah, it's whatever the team needs. I mean, there's a lot of talent in the NBA. It's just a matter of opportunity and a chance to do what they've probably been doing their whole entire life. I mean, there's a lot of superstars now in the league right now that in the beginning they weren't that. I mean, Brunson was stuck behind Luka in Dallas, and no one thought Brunson would be that way. But if you give him opportunity and the ability with a whole lot of freedom, then that's what you get. I mean, Shea was stuck behind in the Clippers. So, there's a lot of talent out there that people don't know because they're kind of hung up on the name of the person. But, there's a lot of talent that the way the NBA is structured, you have to go and you kind of have to wait your turn. So, this is his opportunity to do something, really good, because basically he doesn't want to lose. So whatever it takes to not lose is what he's willing to do. So if that means he has to increase his scoring, he'll do that. If he has to, be a playmaker and set up people, he'll do that. So the main thing is he doesn't like to lose.
Yeah, and do you see that jump for him, like some of those other guys you mentioned there, with the opportunity he's going to have and potentially more shots and whatever else it's going to be this year? Like, could he have this massive statistical season if that's the way it's going to go for him in terms of usage? And I remember talking to him earlier in the preseason. It's been interesting to hear from all these guys because, Jaylen, obviously the narrative is going to be like, Jason's out, it's your time to shine. He doesn't look at it that way necessarily. Wants to play defense, wants to do different things to get guys involved, he said, which was interesting to me because we've heard about him talking sacrifice and everything else he's had to do to make things work here. So, it was a little bit of a different response than he's had. Peyton, obviously, a lot of people have hopes for him taking a leap this year, and he said he'd be willing to come off the bench again if that's necessary. And Derrick was similar, and this stood out to me. He said in the past he's been in these situations where he's put that expectation on himself, like, I have to do more, I have to score more, I have to fill out the box score more. And he said that didn't go well for him. So he doesn't like to look at it that way necessarily, but that could end up being the result for him.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing is, like you said, it's the word usage. Usage, in his circles means the ball is in your hand to make the correct decision. There's other players in the league, they'll say their usage means they're going to increase the number of shots. You kind of know who those players are. So the ball is in his hands. It'll probably be in his hands more, but if it leads to a shot, that's because he's open. If it leads to a pass or setting the screen or doing anything else like that, that's what it takes. That's what it's going to happen. Which was the best part was like you said, JB said it wasn't like he wants to put up numbers. We're in Boston, and like they say, the only thing that matters is championships. I mean, Larry Bird and all those guys, they didn't have like scoreboard numbers. They didn't have, skyrocketing numbers, but they won. When we came from the Spurs, Tim Duncan and Manu, they didn't have huge numbers, but nobody could beat them. So your legacy is more built on the number of wins. And if it takes scoring 30 to 40, like Michael Jordan did, then so be it. But there's other ways to win. And, a couple of years ago, they proved that. Like you said, people said they were going to come off the bench. Derrick come off the bench. Al said he'd come off the bench. Drew said he would come off the bench. So, the minute you have a team full in sacrifice mode, then that leads to overwhelming success going down the line.
Yeah, and I want to pull up his stats from when he plays big minutes here. For 40 plus minutes with him, 20 points a game, 5 rebounds a game, 6 assists per game. I could see that end up being his stat line this year. He's 36 from 3 in those games, 43 from the field. So we'll see how the efficiency goes for some of these guys who are going to get more defensive pressure this year, which I'm interested to see as well. Because that's obviously something Jayson handled significantly during his time there. But how do you have to see things taking shape here? They've talked a lot about a higher pace. They've talked a lot about a more aggressive defense. How do you see them playing without Jayson this year and trying to make up for that absence?
Yeah, like you said, that's a big hole not having Jayson. So we can't play like we did the last 3 years. The last 3 years they played on the defensive end was, switch everything, kind of play it safe. They were like one of the top teams in not fouling. So, they weren't overly aggressive. I mean, they would contest shots, but they wouldn't jump because, they had that one where DeMar got Derrick on the pump fake and then he was like totally distraught because he knew he missed assignment. And then, Joe put his arm around him. So, that's the main thing is the defense is going to be different. You're going to have to force more turnovers, or not really force more turnovers, but speed the other team up so they can't do what they want to do. In the past few years, if a team wanted to do a certain thing, they had enough defensive acumen out there that it would still be kind of a hard thing to do. But if you just let the modern player just kind of do what they want to do and set up and run their plays without any interference, they're gonna score. So this year they're gonna have to, more ball pressure, get in passing lanes, do jump double teams, all these kind of things that Celtic fans for the last 3 years, they never did that.
Yeah, and I think that could be a fun style too. The getting on the move, and you look at some of the preseason film, they were aggressive, and it's big substitution patterns where 4 or 5 guys are coming in and it's fresh legs and they're going all out. And I'm interested to see how you get through the whole season doing that. But it's going to be fun to watch when they do get to that peak of disruptiveness and activity. I think a lot of people here will remember like the Isaiah Thomas teams, the way those, Avery Bradley, those kind of guys played back then, Jay Crowder. I think it's going to look like that. But who's going to be the Isaiah? Who's going to be the guy who steps up and leads this thing offensively? I think it's going to be interesting to watch. And, Derrick is capable of that. Like you said, the extra scoring he can bring at certain times, I think will surprise people this year because he can get into the 30s. I think, what's his career high? Like 41 from that game with the 3-point record he and Pritchard set, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, he can get up there, especially with a lot more 3-point attempts. And I think that's going to continue this year. His offseason, I know he mentioned pick and roll activity a little bit as something he tried to work on when I talked to him last. What did you hear about him trying to improve, work on this summer? What was his summer like overall?
The main thing was kind of, working out to get his stamina and his strength up because he's going to be counted on to do more things during the year. And, if you're taking more of a active role on offense, last year he was playing off Jayson and JB, and he'd be spotted up in, the above the break threes or corner threes. And so that technically he could rest on offense and then, still be active on defense. This year, he's going to have to, he's going to have to find a way to marshal so that he's good on both sides, the offense and defense. So, he's going to have to go through pick and rolls and making the right reads, and also to incorporate some of the newer people, because he ran pick and roll like the last couple years, but that's with KP, that's with Al and some of the other players. So, and that took a while. The thing I looked like this year, game one, it's not going to be 100% perfect coming out of the chute. I know people are going to say, oh, if good or bad, they're going to jump to, irrational conclusions. And it's like, it's going to take a while. It may be great out of the chute on the first game. Then the next game, it's like, nothing seems to matter. So it's going to be a long season. It's going to be a fun season because we can't anticipate anything. Last year at this time, we were thinking, oh, they could repeat. And now the mantle's on OKC and they have that. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see what your outlook is for this team going into it here in just a second. I want to give a shout out to Prize Picks, our sponsor here, as basketball season gets going. And of course, football season continues here. A lot of us play fantasy football, and sometimes it goes off the rails fast. Injuries, don't pick the best possible team. But what I love about Prize Picks is you can put a new team together every single week. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this football season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right and new now on Prize Picks. It's the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. Want to pick more on Josh Allen, or I'll say Drake May's passing yards, rushing yards, touchdowns. Now you can pick all of them in the same lineup, only on Prize Picks. Follow other Prize Picks players directly on the app and copy their lineups with one click, whether it's a friend, celebrity partner, or just someone whose picks you like. Hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create with the new feed tab on Prize Picks. And of course, they got the flex play where you can get paid even if one of your picks misses, and injury reboots. That's a big one for me. A lot of guys get hurt in football, and if one of the players leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks won't count it as a loss. So head over there, download the app today, Prize Picks, and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. So, what is your outlook for this year? And you're a fan. You watched this team for a long time. It seems to be mixed. Like, some fans look at it and see the injuries and the departures, I think, and say, oh, it's probably going to be a gap year, reset year, that kind of thing. And some people think there's still enough here to have a really good season. Where are you at right now as you look at it?
I looking for it. It's going to be a good season. They have to be on the good side of the injury luck. With the amount of people that they lost, and the injury to JT.
That's why you hate to see the Jalen thing in that last preseason game.
Yeah, but I mean that one. I don't know. I mean, I don't have any inside information or anything. I just follow like websites and stuff. So there's a website, Basketball Monster, that has an alert for anytime anytime somebody gets injured or whatever. They immediately get stuff out there. Like Sabonis has a hamstring. He's out. He's going to be out for a week. They got all these. They had Bronny James. They had LeBron. They have. All the different, Jaden Ivey and stuff, but I didn't see Jalen's name on there. So it's like, I mean, if there's reports and there's whatever, then so be it. But, some of the things that I've kind of seen online is people want to pull the parachute cord before they even leave the plane. It's like, oh, that's it. We're done. It went over. It's like, no, it's not over until it gets to the point where it is over. It's not going to be over in the first 20 to 25 games. You never know. It's going to take time to generate the lineups, to generate the rotations and how things work. So Oh, excuse me. So it's, I think they're going to do well. It's this picking up and putting more pressure on teams. That's the new thing, and it's bearing fruit because teams can't do what they want to do. If you can somehow speed a team up, force someone else other than their primary scorers to take shots and or may have to make decisions. Now, there are some players who are good shooters, but if you force the ball into them and then take away their shot, then that impacts that team's offense. So I think with the new defensive thing, and the best part is there's a ton of Celtic players. I mean, you can almost go 1 to 14 that has something to prove that the general public thinks they can't do. And the worst thing you can do is when you're dealing with competitive people is tell them they can't do something. So I'm looking for a big year.
Yeah, I think that's a good point because many of these guys haven't played NBA minutes, on a regular basis before in their careers. And I'll give you a second there to catch your breath. But a lot of these guys haven't played regular NBA basketball throughout their careers here. And you got Chris Boucher coming in. You got Nemesh Keita, who is starting for the first time potentially here. Luka Garza has played inconsistent minutes to start his NBA career. Josh Minot, same deal. There's just a lot of new faces here on this team. And I'm interested to see what they can all bring. I think they're all going to play night in and night out for the most part here, especially at the pace this team's going to play at. They're going to need a lot of bodies here. Who intrigued you among the new faces? If you had to pick out one person and what that person can bring to the team this season, like who stood out most to you?
I mean, there's a lot of players over there because basically you're looking for like skill sets and stuff. So there's several players that bring a skill set. Like Josh Minot in his length, he's 6'8" with like a 7-foot wingspan. He can cause a whole lot of havoc. Luka Garza will hunt anybody down to set a screen on. So, as far as me, for what Derrick does, having a willing screener, I mean, that can catch the ball off.
That's what they were going to miss in Luke. So that stood out to me. Luka Garza coming in doing the same thing.
Exactly. And plus, I liked Boucher, when they had that tussle there and he was not taking any crap or anybody, and he stepped right in. Because, usually, before it was like JB. JB was the quote-unquote enforcer. And so it's good to have another person that says, no, that kind of, Orlando Magic type, beating things down. That won't fly under Chris's watch. So, we've got a whole lot of different people. Like you said, there's new opportunity. And so anytime somebody gets on the floor, it's their chance to really do something spectacular. And they've got to take full advantage of it. And basically the season will come down to is how well do other people take advantage of that newfound usage and opportunity.
Yeah. Well, I'll go to Boucher for a minute because, my answer to who will break through here and have the most impact among these new guys. I think he's probably the best shot at going, getting that. Because he's just a veteran and he's played throughout his career. He's won a championship, and I've been super impressed. You mentioned him standing up for Ugo in Memphis. He's talked a lot after these games and at practices and stuff so far. He's definitely becoming one of the more audible voices, leading this team so far. And he does have some poise to him. I read the story too. I don't know if you got to about his journey to the NBA that he wrote in the Players Tribune. I definitely recommend that to everybody. The guy is a fascinating person and player, and he has this versatility too. I know they started him at the 4 in the last game. He started at the 5 in the Cleveland game in the preseason. He can shoot the 3. He's super long when you stand next to him. got this presence that's, when they're trying to disrupt and do all the things they're trying to do defensively, he's going to be a big part of that. And, I know you're the numbers guy. The per 36 numbers in his career are pretty ridiculous. And you think of what all of these guys can do with more opportunity. His numbers from a year ago where his, rotation spot and role got diminished there in Toronto, he was still able to put up 21 and 9 per 36 with a steal and a block per game in those minutes there. Shot 49 from the field, 36 from 3 on 8 threes per 36. I don't know if he's going to play 36 minutes on this team, but if he's giving you 20, 25 of that, it's pretty impactful. And all the Toronto guys I talked to, they played them a couple times this preseason. We're just saying energy, energy, energy. Like this guy's just nonstop energy. And I feel like that's going to go down as one of the more underrated pickups around the league is him coming here on a minimum for 1 year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's big. A lot of the other, well publicized players get, like Desmond Bain went to Orlando. So there's a lot of, chatter and talk about that. So, but I mean, for this team, having someone with energy and some skills and some experience, I mean, this team is really, it's like young. I mean, Boucher and Derrick are like the oldest two on the team. I mean, JB's played longer. This is his season, but I mean, there's so many good things that could come out. It doesn't mean that it's all going to work together right out of the chute, but it's a lot easier to work with high energy people, that want to play and are hungry for their opportunity than to have some people who are kind of set in their ways and just think they're owed their minutes and owed their shots.
So do you have a number I know you're the numbers guy, you're pulling numbers after a lot of these games. Do you have a number from the preseason that stood out for the team, for any of the players here? Because I got a couple in front of me if you don't.
Oh, I mean, stat wise, with the way that they were going, and Joe's increased emphasis on rebounding. I never really looked at like blockouts before. I mean, that's like on the hustle tab with like shot contests and stuff. So I've been looking at the defensive blockouts, the deflections, and the pace. And the pace has been really with the 3 games that Derrick played, the pace was like over like 108. So
I was glad to see that translate because it's, every team does it, right? They go into camp, they say, we want to play fast, we want to increase our pace, but you actually do it. And they did. They got to 7th in pace for the preseason, higher at times, as you mentioned there. That was pretty impressive they got down to like 91 into that Knicks series last spring. And, Brad, mentioned that as a factor in the playoff loss there too. So I was glad to see that. Their defense came in at 2nd defensive rating in the preseason, which, with the questions around that unit there, I think that's a pretty impressive. Net rating was 5th. Assist to turnover wasn't great. They did turn the ball over a lot in the preseason. They came in at 31st assist to turnover. But the offensive rebounding was strong. They got up to 6th there. I know they like crashers, average amount of crashers, and they had 2, per crash there, however you calculate that. The defensive rebounding was a little bit of a struggle, as we mentioned, 23rd. And then turnover percentage came in at 30th. Shooting finished at 17th effective field goal. So mixed bag, definitely some things to work through. There were some highs and lows. I think the strengths of this team are definitely going to be their offensive rebounding. I still think there's a lot of shooting here. And the questions are going to be probably their size at center and their defensive rebounding, which was a big topic coming out of the preseason.
Right. So, I mean, now that's the thing. If they can clear, like 70% of their defensive rebounds, then, before they were like in the mid 60s or whatever. But if 70 is not great, but it's doable for this particular team. You'd like to get all the defensive rebounds, but you're going to play a team like Houston, and that's all they do. Houston just chucks and rebounds. So we'll kind of see how that happens. I mean, we play Houston like November, so November 1st or something. So that'll be an interesting game to watch and see, because like you said, we didn't play a lot of teams with their regular people. So the last game with the kind of dress rehearsal, I mean, Jakob Poeltl played, and even last year Jakob killed us on the glass, and it wasn't bad this year. So it was preseason, but that's at least something that you can look at and say, well, that was a test, and they didn't get hurt too bad on it.
Yeah, and I was impressed by those second win. Obviously, they lost the first game against Toronto, but the second game you mentioned there, Jaylen goes out in the first quarter. Toronto played their starters. I know there's some bench guys in there late, and Tillman ends up hitting the game winner, but that was an impressive closeout from them. I think it was only 38-31 in the first half once Jaylen went out Toronto, and then it was 58-58 the rest of the way in the second half. So they hung in there. And again, every injury, as you said, is going to hurt this team that much more when you already have Tatum out for most of this year here. Are you anticipating he'll be back? Like, just based off the videos and everything we're seeing now and his comments, like, can you see him playing this year?
Yeah, I know he wants to play, and I know that he's working hard to, and that's another thing. Your captain, your leader, is busting his butt to come back from an injury that people say takes X amount of time. So if he gets to the point where he's right, then he's gonna want to play. I mean, that's not saying that you rush or anything, but if he plays, that means he went through all the checklists and he's there. So, that to the team is like, hey, we got to hold it down because he's coming. I mean, because people are saying, oh, he shouldn't play or whatever, but you really, do you want him to play when there's like nothing really technically to play for? I mean, there's still some good things that can come from it, getting reps with people to see how how the roster is going to be, because a lot of people are playing for jobs, for minutes. If they want to still be here, they gotta play hard, and they gotta show everybody that they're deserving of the minutes and stuff that they're going to get. So I've never seen anybody work that hard before. But then again, a lot of people just kind of say, well, that's it, that's the way it's going to be, and they don't have anything. So he's going to want to play. I'm hoping that the team plays well enough that it will actually mean something going down the stretch, because that's what he wants. So whatever he wants,
Yep.
that's the way it should go. Now, if there's medical reasons why he shouldn't go and he wants to go, then he can't go. But I'm saying the way he's approaching his rehab, he's going to clear those hurdles, and when he does, he's going to be back on the floor.
Yeah, we're all looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the guys who went out the door this offseason too, how they do in their new homes. I saw Porzingis the other night had 23 and 13 for Atlanta. Drew had a massive game, I think 23 points, something in the 20s there for Portland. Al's getting going with Golden State. They got a pretty impressive roster of veterans to begin this year, but I really want to ask you about Luke, my guy. And how he's going to do down there in San Antonio, because you and Derrick are pretty familiar with that organization, and I'm sure you've seen how he's done so far to begin the preseason. I mean, he's picking up where he left off in that Game 5 and playing off Wembanyama, and I think he's one of the guys around the league this year that's going to surprise people. And out of all the guys they lost, I know Al's Al, and late stages of his career, and Porzingis and Drew were really helpful, but the one guy to me who was on the ascent out of those four was Luke, and fit well with Tatum, fit well with Derrick, and that was a killer. I know they tried hard to keep him, but he ends up going to San Antonio. And given how familiar you are with that organization, what do you think it's going to be for him there?
Um, Luke's got it. I mean, he's figured out. I mean, Luke is another person that when he came in the league, he was a stretch five. He shot threes. Now Luke has mastered playing playing with JT and JB. Luke's mastered where to be in the open space, so that I can be effective. Um, he doesn't want to have to make a post move or anything, but he can set a screen. He can do the short roll. He can make quick decisions within the short roll. He can do a little push shot and
The push shot's so fun. I've seen that this preseason.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, Jakob Poeltl learned the same thing. So you get the push shot, you get interior passing, which Keita had one in the last game where he caught it near the free throw line and then immediately bounced past it to Minot for the dunk. So that's something that will come. Amy doesn't have it 100% yet, but this is like his first opportunity. So he's like a year and a half behind where Luke was. So the Luke thing. He knows how to play off of other stars. And so Wembanyama people are going to flash to him. And if they run, the Luke Wembanyama pick and roll, Luke's going to dive and you get a lot of dunks. So, people, if you want to check dunks, Luke's going to be up there. He's not a big dunker, but he's going to have a lot of dunks. So, I mean, yeah, it kind of hurt. I haven't really talked to Derrick about Luke and whatever. And it was like, oh, is your old house? Because his old house was up for sale. So I don't know. Maybe Luke could be in the old house. And so he's gonna fit in down there. He's a character. I mean, he's fun. He's his kind of humor really fit well with Derrick and Sam and that. So so he's going to bring that to San Antonio, and they're going to really love it down there. And yeah, Luke was a huge loss because of what he did, what he brings to the team.
Did you see the starting five thing on Netflix yet? Him, Derrick, I think TJ McConnell, a couple of guys talking about their ECT scores.
Yeah, we were just talking about it today. I did a FaceTime with Derrick, and so it was he was talking about that, and yeah, I had like 24. I took it like 3 times and everything, and that starting lineup that was pretty cool. I mean, because we had like major rivalry type things with Indiana, but that kind of showed that the players are going to play hard against each other, but in the end they just they get it. So I mean, Halliburton and all those others. So I mean, and it's kind of like the same Halliburton has the Achilles, JT has the Achilles. I mean, it's like Indiana and Boston are like kindred spirits in that
Celtics
respect.
fans were rooting for Indy the whole run there, and I can
Mm-hmm.
see why. Yeah, that was a great team to watch, and man, had Neesmith over there, obviously, and there was a lot to love about that team, and that was a killer in Game 7. What ended up happening to him there? Did Luke end up moving into Derrick's house? Did that work out?
I don't think he did, but
The offer was there.
That would be come full circle if that were the case. It's a real nice neighborhood. Luke would like it.
What else is Derrick excited? I know you got to talk to him. What else is he excited about as this year gets going here? Is there anyone in particular who's impressing him? Like what's he talking about as this year gets going here?
No, he just likes the camaraderie of different the different players and trying to figure out how it fits in and how things are going to go. And it's So he's looking forward to that because you never know. You never know what the season's gonna be, but you just enjoy it because it's gonna be Celtic basketball again.
All right, and it looks like we lost your video here. I'll ask you this before we get you out of here.
Okay.
Did you see the media versus coaches game, and what were your thoughts?
Oh yeah, I saw parts of it. I saw the other thing. I mean, yeah, that was. I mean, it was more the media storm afterwards. I mean, basically, it was a game, and it was, a lot of people talking about stuff when they weren't on the court. So, I mean, I've seen you, I've seen Noah, Kayla, Thompson. I mean, you guys, you went out there, you played hard. Corrales. I mean, you're going against athletic young people. so if I had to be out there, I would struggle. I would feel that like Corrales said, I'm like 40, 50 pounds over my playing weight and such. So yeah. I thought it was just a chance to play, and I like the fact that you guys got to play the second. You played each other afterwards, and everybody kind of stuck around and did all the different things to, cheer you guys on, give you guys, some pointers and stuff. But it's like, yeah, there's like a whole lot of other people, now everybody's going to be doing it, but the other teams don't have necessarily the same distribution of players and talent like the Celtic coaches.
It was amazing. It blew me away, the intensity of their effort and the skill set, and just how hard it was to even dribble out there, as I've said a million times. But thanks for giving us some, reinforcement for our effort out there.
Yeah, I know. Maybe it goes to the point where you have the medias go, like you guys go against the Denver media, because I'm here in Denver, so that would be cool.
Yeah, we'll see how that game works out. They are going to do one, and we lost Richard's video here, but appreciate you giving us the time and stopping by. Of course, you're doing all your posting over on Blue Sky now, right?
Yes.
Ramblin' Rec 34 over there. If you want to continue interacting with Richard throughout the season, who's posting stats and going back and forth with fans, and just a great voice to talk to around this team. Appreciate having you here. Hopefully, we'll catch up again later this season, and we will be back on Monday with the full cast here for the season preview. That's going to get going around 8:45. Check out all our Patriots coverage today over on the Patriots Press Pass channel, as well as our WNBA content as it continues here into their off season. Subscribe to the WNBA channel here on CLNS Media, WNBA Today, and of course, Bruins Rinkside for all the coverage of the Bruins. Thanks again to Richard. And thank you for all tuning in here on a Sunday edition of the Garden Report. Again, we are back at 8:45 tomorrow. Check out Prize Picks. Use the code CLNS. We got a big football game tonight, as we do here on Sunday night. So go make a lineup for that game over there with the code CLNS and help us out by supporting our sponsor here. And I am Bobby Manning. Again, we'll see you tomorrow night. And of course, Celtics season gets going on Wednesday against the 76ers. Finally here, off season finally over, and we're about to get some games. So we'll talk to you tomorrow.
No one's sneaking a vegan brownie by me, I'll tell you that.
Okay, you know what, John? We're going to do it.
You have to feel that way too, Bobby.
I have to feel that way. Let's
Yeah.
fly out over and make Luke your first center.
Bobby, we gave you Luke an hour early. We're not going to end this on a damn conversation about Luke